Gentleman from California is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Chairperson Khan, welcome today. What is your job?
I have the great honor of serving as chair of the Federal Trade Commission.
And what do you do in that role?
Well, help manage the agency, oversee both our Bureau of Consumer Protection's work.
Protect consumers?
Protect consumers, protect fair
Where do you get that
competition.
authority?
Congress charged us with that in the FTC Act and subsequent legislative amendments.
Is that new?
Excuse me?
That authority new?
That authority stems back to 1914 and then subsequent amendments in the following decades.
We talked a little bit earlier about litigation fees, enforcement costs. Let me ask you, are you a profit center or are you an agency in charge of protecting consumers, enforcing the law, and going after individuals that may prey on our consumers, our taxpayers?
We're a government agency that is using every dollar we have to protect the American people from illegal business practices.
Thank you. Let's talk about Main Street, people who sent us here to Washington. I get scam calls every day, robocalls. Seniors get robocalls every day. Veterans get robocalls every day. How are you working with the FCC to stop these calls from happening?
So we in the FCC have overlapping jurisdiction, as you noted. One thing that we're doing, in addition to going after some of the robocallers themselves, is identifying what are some of the upstream factors that are allowing these calls to proliferate. Sometimes these calls are originating from other countries in ways that can make it difficult for us to go directly after them. This is why we look at VoIP providers and other upstream
Madam
service
Chair,
providers.
a number of years ago, I had a situation in my district. We had to get Interpol involved. Calls originating from Mexico. One of the local telephone companies were providing the calling information, and it was a huge, huge mess. International, very much a difficult challenge. What can we in Congress do to help you rein in these predatory calls?
There are certainly legislative updates that we're happy to recommend to you and your team. I would say generally, given that the FCC also has authority over the telecom carriers themselves, directly taking action at that layer could also probably have a very big impact.
You know, at the end of those scam calls, you have victims, people that get hurt really bad and struggle to get that money back. What is your agency doing to help consumers get their money back?
We're bringing lawsuits where we can. Unfortunately, a couple of years ago, we suffered a big setback in court where the court said that 13B of the FTC Act, which has been a core provision that we use to go into court and get back money for people who have been scammed out of money, the court said we can no longer use that authority. That was a big setback. Since then, we've been activating other legislative authorities to make sure we're trying to get money back where we can, but there's no doubt that billions of dollars evaporated after that court decision and people are losing out as a result.
So do you need legislative help from Congress to do your job, protect consumers in this area of junk fees?
Absolutely. Legislation, in particular, enabling the FTC to go into court under Section 13B and get money back so that lawbreakers are not profiting from their lawbreaking, that would be essential.
I think that's important. Lawbreakers need to know there's somebody there, a police officer waiting to make sure that they follow the law. And too many times, my locals get ripped off. They call the local PD. They don't know what to do. They call the local state agency. They don't know what to do. And I hope that you and your agencies can continue to be effective in making sure that consumers on Main Street are protected. Our seniors especially, that sometimes are embarrassed to call me and tell me I just got ripped off, that don't have the energy or the wherewithal to defend themselves. These are the people we need to be protecting. I asked you if you were a profit center. I know you're not, but nonetheless, I encourage you to continue to do a good job because my constituents, American taxpayers, are relying on your agency and doing a good job. Thank you very much. And Mr. Chair, I yield.
Gentleman yields back. The gentleman from Virginia is recognized.